As is tradition, this is the traditional bit. You tell me, are we actually live? I should have a yes, yes, yes in the chat box. That'll let me know we're all good to go. What's up, y'all? What's up, Nick? Grazing Kelpie and Co. You must have seen me by now. Oh, well, it looks like it's in the wrong stream. It must be doing the wrong stream again. Silly me, right? I'll have to figure out what this problem is. You can hear me loud and clear. Someone even spotted a Jim Jam. All right, well, let's get into it. All the moves ahead of the news.
Huh?
No financial advice, of course.
Surely, you've noticed you find yourself outnumbered.
I don't think so.
Don't forget your stop loss. There is no help in rushing to be rich. And plenty of wealth in waiting to be right. Huge moves coming to LivePerson. Previously resistance, you can see with this horizontal purple line. Now support. If that breaks and price action then below there, warning sign at 82 cents. That's the Rocky Outcrop flash. You get that free as part of the paid side of Discord. That's been interrupted towards the end of January. Now you're looking at this support around 120. If that breaks, you'll get your 3-star buys. To find out the best possible place for those, watch Rocky Out show tomorrow. I'm going to show you something interesting. Price action, after it found support back above what was previous resistance, to put in this consolidation formation, downward sloping tightening wedge has got a measured move. That is the measured move. Price action broke out and tested that level, come back down still within this previous formation, still that important level of support 20. If we turn on the Rock Outcrop Toolkit, this does so much work for you. You can see that there's this fair value gap closed at around 1.01, another closed at 0.87. Very likely the 1.01 would come in as support and lead to a bounce. Price action ahead of that, you can see another starts in at around 116. That's so approximate to the support level, I'd be targeting that midpoint in at around 101 or 111 back above there. Also historically important level of support and previous resistance ahead of other breakdowns. Price action currently though demonstrating what's going to come, and that's a break to the top side eventually. This Rock Outcrop Toolkit, I'll turn it off and on again just so you can see the information you're getting given. Along with that important detail on the fair value gaps, you've got your 2 moving averages, you can fill that up, but these two 50 simple 200 really crucial, and most accurate Fibonacci from the recent price action you can get, all the prior important closes, dailies, weeklies, monthlies, highs and lows, all of that all together immediately put on your chart. But the Rocky Outcrop flash that tells you where price is likely to go, clear support, and if it breaks to the top side, clear target areas. The extension on this move, should it break resistance in around 185, potentially taking you up to test this $2.80 level. Ahead of that, you've got downward sloping diagonal, so a lot of tough areas to break through, which is why it needs to fill up the rocket fuel into the tanks right now, and it could get a big boost down these areas. If it does, that 3-star buy, tune in to Rocky Show tomorrow. He developed all these indicators, he runs the Discord, and he is a master at technical analysis. In the meantime, we're going to look from the 1 hour time frame down to the 5th minute and show you that yes, it closed a gap. It closed that most recently. That's natural and normal in a period of consolidation. Ahead of the breakdown, it broke this important resistance. It was a support trend line, now it's resistance. On the RSI, price action also showing a little bit of a warning sign on the MACD, so it could come back down, test that level of support, reset these oscillators, and really go for a boost. And that can happen anywhere from 120. It's just much more likely it happens here around $1.11, where you see that massive reaction. It may well be you want to keep some dry powder till then. It might be that you're slowly entering as prices come to you, or it might be you're waiting for a breakout to the top side to enter a trending move. That's all very possible. Price action has departed with extreme velocity from this area. Another test of it likely leads to more of the same. That downward sloping diagonal at 240, incredibly important. Now, we've looked at the charts there. It's an important update. It's good to be aware of the fact that consolidating resistance means a big move is coming. You get your best buys with patience despite that extreme excitement on the charts. But there's other things to look at. This news is a customer testimonial from LivePerson. It was shared on the subreddit. Really interesting news there. Update you on some of the facts and figures from this testimonial on LivePerson coming in here. LivePerson customer testimonial L/live, and the journey in numbers: 37% growth in their client base, 50 million conversations in 2023, 7 million conversations via WhatsApp. Nearly half of all conversations happening with LivePerson for this company on what customer satisfaction is percent. Unheard of, right? Unheard of. Amazing results there, demonstrating that this product really does work. You've got the live Lipsons episode 2 part 1. Brilliant memes. Definitely check this out. Hazeluff on LivePerson there. Get yourself down there and see that meme. It's absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend it. Another on X, where you've got detailed fundamental analysis of LivePerson, links to all of the sort of information that would help you with your trading.
We're down over 16% down at the same time.
I was there at the time working in a very large investment bank that's also featured in that meme. What a community of folks into LivePerson. Absolutely amazing activity going around LivePerson community. You've got brilliant memes, fantastic customer testimonials, and earnings coming up in just over 2 weeks. We're all going to be all eyes on Lipsons. So you've got 2 weeks. Do you get these amazing buys ahead of that important corporate event? If you do, there'll be a lot of interest in it around these areas, and an awful lot of volume and an awful lot of volatility, and it's perfectly reasonable to expect price action based on the technical artifacts we've seen to push up to those top levels. So a lot of interesting things coming on LivePerson. To get the best possible buy, you'll want to tune in to Rocky Out Show tomorrow. I'll do my absolute best to keep everybody updated 24/7 on the Discord. Get yourself down there, see what we're doing on the Discord. Really good group of people, really professional, really mature, reasoned approach to price, and they can help you make the most of this opportunity, which could go interstellar. But in the meantime, there's really good people there to help you get the best possible entry and manage how you're going to take this opportunity on board. So thanks very much for watching. Like I say, tomorrow's show, Rocky Outcrop, you'll get those 3-star buys. We know that something big is coming. Get involved in the community, everybody. It's the Rocky Outcrop Discord. It's quickly becoming the funnest place to make money on the internet. Thanks very much. See you next one. Any questions, just let me know. I'll do my absolute best to help. I've been Tradespotting. Thank you everybody who supports the show. Last up on the live stream with Careless Whisper donating. Huge donation there. Really appreciate it, buddy. We've got Dashi C supporting me on Patreon and on the Discord. And I've got plenty of other people chipping in to make the community a better place. Thanks to those two. Thanks to everybody who supports the show. See you all later on. As I say, any questions, just ask. I'm here to help, and so is everybody else in this community. Thank you. Oh yes, that's a really good way of supporting the channel, hitting the like button. And members, I appreciate you so very much. What did you think of that then? Pretty in-depth. Only 5 minutes or so, and a good update on the charts. Back to the live section now without the captions. Slightly harder for other people to follow along, but we rake these shows in advance so that everybody has the best opportunity with understanding my Scottish accent. With the camera it might be slightly easier, but you've still got it. So regular hours closed at 138, post market a little bit of volatility. It's very difficult to see here. It's just these straight lines. If I stretch it way out, then they go off the screen. So there's only so much I can do post market with this volatility, trying to show you what's going on. There they are. Anyway, price is currently at 141. That is quite good. Obviously, you'll have noticed resistance recently up at around 144. That was the high today. 134 being support, but very low volume day at 2.23 million. Average being 6. Here's post market with that previous level of resistance, that level of support, the wedge, the breakout. Test of that, but no higher. Price action not managing to break that measured move. So no breakout yet, but positive moves. And if you did see a little bit of a move back down again, it would likely be just a liquidity grab for those over enthusiastic traders who are buying at 150 but don't have the conviction in the trade. You know, they'd likely leave it at around 116, drops to 111, that sort of level. You'd have got most of their funds, at which point the selling activity would drop off, and those people who are interested in acquiring more LivePerson would be getting bigger chunks at this area, create a little bit of upward velocity. And without that selling resistance from the Johnny-come-latelys, paper-handed people who don't really have conviction in trade and were only looking for a quick move, without any resistance from them having selling on their take-profit targets, they'd all be bailing here. People like myself would be taking all their shares. Then price action would face very little resistance on its next move up to 230. It'd likely close the gap at that stage, so I'd be targeting top side of that move back above 239 if it was a take profit target for myself personally, which it isn't. You know, on the 4-hour time frame, regular hours, I can tell you that it's still very close to, whoops a daisy, so very close to also breaking this downward sloping diagonal. Now you've got the most recent one that covered across these peaks, and you've got the all-time one which needs a third touch, so I've still got it as a dotted line. It's just beyond it. Price action closing this gap will have completely proved the positive narrative on price, and so it's very likely you're looking for a breakout on the initial move that take prices even slightly higher. I say slightly, but another 100%, maybe up at around $485 before you see some sort of a retest of the breakout formation. Due to the nature of this consolidation and reversal formation here, you'd expect volatility and a retracement, because any breakout trade, that's the best entry. So these are the sort of areas you'd really be looking at, and ahead of that sort of a dam busting move, it's very common you see like this little extra wee tiny touch lower. Now there's a big section of technical reasons why that is, and they're contained in the past 9 months videos that I've explained what's going on here. The breakout, when this happens, will be extremely violent. Right now, nothing on this channel is financial violence, but this price action will be absolutely devastating. You've got this other gap that closes up at around $9 and change. You know, that's going to be obvious to the whole world and their granny when price action is breaking out and making extreme moves here. And a lot of people are cynical about stocks, yet invest in them and think, well, those sort of moves aren't possible. But that's because they've been focusing so much on these reversal deep value plays that what happens as a natural consequence is they become very disciplined, they become very used to price action oscillating and trading within a range. And those breakouts, not creating earth-shattering moves compared to prior chart formations, which is all very understandable, but when price action really does change, that you see that it demonstrates it with the huge moves that are way outside the average true range of its previous behavior. And that's what's going to happen to LivePerson. The breakout will be extremely large because of the nature of the range of this reversal formation. You'll be looking at something like this is how this goes. You know, people look at these sort of range. That's the sort of thing you're talking about. It doesn't seem obvious to anybody who's been staring at this for 9 months. Obviously, an obvious natural consequence if you've been looking at that, right? I'm not saying everybody's staring at the 1 minute time frame. Plenty of people looking at it in 15 seconds, right? You've been staring at that for 9 months. It gets very, very difficult to see the sort of moves that we just drew on the chart there, right? That breakout move from the reversal formation. If you look at it on the weekly or the daily time frame, still people think like, how could it possibly go through? Because they equate this x-axis here and the, you know, talking about February, most recently end of this last March, end of February, and people think a whole year of price action. They don't anticipate that sort of a range happening in a day. They don't, until such times as it has happened. And all of the new investors in the stock that come in anywhere in these levels, right, they're expecting a range between 3 and 7, and they'll get it right up around these levels. All the people in here who did loads of hard work, and a considerable amount of them, tragically, don't understand the difference in phase and price action that happens on a breakout. And with all stocks at all times, I mean, we said on the Discord when Bitcoin was 17,500, it's going to break out. And when it does break out, no one's going to believe that that was a true breakout. They're going to be waiting, right? And they're not going to be happy with the retest of the breakout zone. They're going to want to be like, they're going to think, oh, all these people that were washed out before, I'm going to get another chance. I'm going to get another chance. They think that they're going to be given that opportunity they previously missed. And that never happens, right? Bitcoin goes maybe back to 21 or something, and then it goes all the way up, and you saw it up at 100 and change, right? Now, that whole way up to 100,000, people are saying it's coming back. I'm going to get in when it comes back. It's going to get in. It never comes back to that area where everybody wants in, obviously. It's an uptrend, right? That's why, because people are forced to buy it higher and higher. Everybody will know LivePerson exists when it touches $7, $8. They'll be thinking, I'll get in at 3. They'll never get it at 3. And it's similarly when it goes up to 12, they'll be like, I'll get in at 5. I'll get in at 7. And they'll never get in at those prices. So, you know, it's a completely different nature of and the frame of perspective when prices change. And you'll see various deep value investors since the history of stock markets talk about this psychological impact it has and how much they regret those people who worked with them at the lows missing out on these moves to the top side. Now, the way you still protect yourself when this happens, when price action breaks up and, you know, you don't want to absorb a massive retracement, is you move your stop up, right? So say, for example, you were one of the lucky ones that get in somewhere around there, right? Your stop's going to have to be somewhere in these levels, right? If you're very, very open to losing a big chunk of money, then it'd be as low as these legs, right? So you'd be sitting in these areas. If you get that sort of an entry and price action breaks to these levels, right, you can use previous highs like this. We're talking about at the minute about how, you know, price action breaking up, putting in a level of resistance, now became support, put in a level of resistance, now became support. It's quite obvious that this is the next level of resistance and it'll be support, right? So you want your stop to be beyond that level. And then when price breaks out to these levels, then you can use all these other previous resistance. It has to be resistance, not support, to look for targets on price. Once it exceeds them, you can use those anchors to be moving stops up. Now, this is going to cause, especially because it's you guys who own a vast majority of the tradable amount of LivePerson now, let's be obvious, right, and honest about this. We own so much of LivePerson that it's you guys that are going to be affecting the liquidity. And my advice now is legal and ethical. But once price starts doing all this stuff, I'm going to get so much crap given to me because I'm going to say to people things like, you know, risk is on here, right? And then, you know, it would be a great buy anywhere there, but much more likely you don't get these as well. And people are going to say Tradespotting's causing the price to go down because he's saying this stuff, blah, blah, blah. The way that you manage, right, that's nonsense, right? But the way that you manage it is, because those are all your decisions, is with your own responsibility. You're not a victim of price. You're responsible for making sure that you protect your profit as much as your capital when you initially enter the trade. So when that breakout happens, it'll be extreme, it'll be violent, there'll be very few chances to get back in again. When those chances do come, it'll be on unheard of moves that people will not be anticipating. So you'll need to be protecting yourself with stops. You won't be able to anticipate them, so you're not going to be able to take profit at the top necessarily. You're certainly going to not maximize these moves, right? Dreamland there. And so it's all about managing risk here. Now, that's all being true. You also have to be clear about position size, right? Because position size is as important as where you put your stop at, because a lot of people change their stop or they compromise their self-discipline there, and the times that that's happening is because they've not thought about the size at the start of the position. You can perfectly add to positions here when price action breaks out and it's back above those clear stop levels. You'll be able to add to it there, and there's nothing stopping that happening. Right in this zone here is a lot of wash, right? A lot of wash, and price going up and down, big considerable percentages, and it tricks people who buy it on the uptrend thinking that it's going to break out on the low oscillation. They get panic and they, you know, sell it to people who want it because there's less selling activity up to that previous peak. It goes up again. You'll get these previous oscillations until such times as the supply demand distortion really takes impact on the market, which is what happens when these supply zones and previous resistance turn to support, because that supply is gone and the demand has proved itself, right? It's like no, you know, when people were selling it here, there was no concept it was definitely going to end there. When this was a higher low and people started selling it here, right? Well, they're not going to target that area. They're targeting this area, and similar things will happen. You'll get this higher low again. People will look at, and quite rightly, the support line here. And anywhere in and around another touch of that now Mark 4 touches. So it's very unlikely it actually gets the whole way there. Right, whether you see the orders on the books ahead of time or not, the point is when price reaches there, it's going to activate that starting point of opportunity, and it's a really, really big one. In at around 111, 1.01, below that, risk profile changes again. But that's what you're looking at, right? That's really big opportunity there. So that's LivePerson. People ask me, why don't you cover lots of other stocks? Well, I do cover them. You just need to let me know either in advance or during the show with donation. I can't see every message obviously because I'm talking very fast, doing analysis, using the charts and controlling the stream, all of this activity. But someone got upset with me at the end of the last show, and I just want you to know, if you're ever upset with me, that sort of thing, right? There's probably also things going on. You know, I'm a full-time carer for my dad. He's got his things going on. I've recently been in hospital for operations and ongoing with that stuff. So I try my absolute best at all times, but every so often I miss a message. But I've not just missed that sticker from Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciated me. Thank you very much, Chris. Third super on a live stream. Alrighty, on the podium. Cheers, Chris. LG, always great to see you. You're welcome. 34 months associate. Boom. Wow. Thanks for the support of Kitty's 42 months. Yo, Simon lose $10 as well. Appreciated. Thank you very much, folks. Hitting our way towards that goal. The goal. Got 2. I will fix my camera. Yeah. Well, this is a long way off, apparently. But still a great objective. Yes, and you can adjust the replay speed on all these videos. If you think I'm talking too fast, you can play it slightly slower. If you're in a rush, you can play it slightly faster, and YouTube moderates the tone so that it's all easy to understand. You'll also notice I brought back this cursor. Sometimes I'm working on different computers depending on my other responsibilities and where I can and can't get to, but at the moment I've got the back on the main machine with the big pointy finger. So that's what we're looking at. I didn't see anything in particular coming in terms of requests. We've got 179 views, 96 live viewers. Average view duration so far, 8 minutes 29, though I imagine that will fluctuate as the length of the video goes on. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't hit the like button, definitely give it a wee tap there. That's appreciated. Right, so there's other things to talk about too. Obviously on the show we've covered SPY very well, and if that should help everybody in every trade they've been doing. Obviously you get even better unfettered access to all of these fantastic moves on the Discord. And great advice from other traders who, just like yourself, are trying to make the world better and their own world better. Badabadum, I've got a YouTube notification. Awesome, for Rocky's show. Couldn't get better than that. The best thing in notifications do. Right, so we covered that. We also talked about VIX, you know, and the gap fill, prices coming back, chances for extreme volatility still persisting. We've covered Tesla recently, NVIDIA with that retracement back to the top side where you would find resistance and these great opportunities coming in. We've covered that, and we did 8 different ticker requests on the last show. So we've covered all those sort of things, you know, and there's huge opportunities coming in the stock market. We also talked about this brutality we've seen in the crypto market in alts. While Bitcoin is holding these important levels and managing to make some sort of recovery of that big impact, Ethereum testing down towards the low 2000 areas, and that had such a massive impact. I mean, DOT, these are obviously bargain moves, right? DOT itself is the substrate, and so much more than just the cryptocurrency itself. All cryptocurrencies that are looking for efficiency could use and make use of the DOT platform. Gives it huge scalability, though they do not focus on hype at all. It is about recurrent, and that's a huge, it's not going anywhere, you know, it's DOT will persist, and that's such a cheap price for it. It was even cheaper at the low of that wick. It was in at around 3.7. That's insane. So if you're a hodler, right, it might be brutal watching it. This is the hard period of time. If you're collecting things at low prices, huge opportunities at the minute. That's epic recovery, close that gap. After that, you're allowed to take a little bit of a breather. Taking a breather means that this might also consolidate on VIX. You know, VIX is a measure of contracts out of the money on other indices such as this guy. Those contracts on a rolling period, right, with a little bit of an overlap to adjust for these extreme periods of volatility. So using it as a measure of volatility is a stupid way of doing things. Understanding what it is goes into the calculations of it, makes things a lot easier. A little bit of gap closed there, and quite an obvious formation forming. Minute. Another breakout coming. Huge one too. Putting it all in context, you can see that price action after a period of consolidation does go on massive moves on VIX. A huge opportunity there. Like we always talk about here, the biggest opportunities come back when VIX is below 12 bucks. That's when you get the biggest moves to the top side. It's always been true. It always will be true. And it's something to pay attention to if you're looking for huge moves on individual tickers. GameStop. I've also covered that a lot recently, and I do put an awful lot of effort when the shows aren't live to make sure that the TA here is accurate, because this is such a group of traders, especially those who persist with me to this day, are incredibly important to what that we're trying to do here on the channel. So GameStop is put in a lot of danger signs here. A lot of people look at that as a potential head and shoulders. You can see that it comes at the top end of a previous period of consolidation, which was way below, and it's ended up in a period of distribution. So if this fails, it will also disprove the theory of strength that was in the prior formation. Price will come back down. It's also got a fair value gap there at 23.50, another at 22 and change, another at 20, and that's the sort of thing that leads to heartbreaking cascading moves, which if we're to draw this head and shoulders, should it be that, you know, that breakdown comes back down, test these prior lows in around 1890 and so on. That's just the, like, you know, we talked about prior support as resistance. You know, it's already broke these levels in this period of consolidation. So if it doesn't manage to break up towards these previous highs, back above 41 is the critical number now, which is so far away, but this is the nature of price action on GameStop. The next level of support is actually not in the, unfortunately not in this section of price action here, right? It is when previously price action was coming from below looking for resistance, which is in around here, probably 18 bucks. That breaks, you'll be looking at $15 and change. That breaks, you know, the question becomes, why would it even stop at the most recent low? And then, like, you put it into focus, well, these are all lower highs than the high, the macro high on GameStop, right? You go on the weekly time frame, make that point slightly clearer. While price action did have a huge move here, this breakup lacks any follow through after a retracement, and proven that that resistance is not permanent, being able to go through it so quickly here does beg the question, why can't it do it again if it was for reasons that are sustainable? And if it isn't, right, then it just offers up short-term opportunities. And those short-term opportunities, you can see them on the weekly time frame. Right, it's just a retracement back down from these highs. When you start looking at that level, you can see the breakout. You know where to measure your fib from. It's this low. You can see that it goes through the 50% level. That's the trend, looking like it might have finished $26 and change. That's broken. 50% re-levels in at around 20 bucks again. That's an important Fibonacci. That's the dominant one that's going to affect price action. Bottom side of that golden pocket at $18.31. If that doesn't hold, then I don't even, as you can see here, I don't even bother drawing on the 786 in my roster. Things are not looking at 786s across the market right now, right? If it doesn't turn out a golden pocket, it's hitting the 886. That comes in at $11.66. That won't hold. It'll come down, test the prior low at $10 and change. That might not work in a 113 extensions at 720, right? So it's brutality is still very, very likely here on GameStop until such times as it proves its strength. And that's, like I say, we're not looking at 786s, right? You're looking up at around $41 plus. Previous 236 from this breakdown exceed that. That's what the market really wants GameStop to do to prove its strength. And those people who are shorting it to get out of the way, they won't be disproven until price exceeds those levels. And it set itself a huge challenge now, because of the nature of the way price action went up in such a huge volatile spike and gave up so much of that move, but then failed to break up. You know, the psychology there is fairly straightforward. So that's, you know, careful. Got to be careful. AMD, people have been asking about AMD. We did talk about AMD on Friday, so let's see. Was that useful information for folks? I can see here the drawing we've put on price action hasn't changed. Weekly, nothing distinct there. Daily, you've got pretty much what we anticipated happening. If the breakout happens, I would target $148 and change. Post market, it's lost $6. That's not exactly enthusiastic. 4-hour time frame. Gaps, not managing to fill them. W bottoms, which I expect will have bullish divergence. Can I please have my indicators? Trading view. Why are you so stupid? There we go. So you've got bullish divergence on those lows, but you've got continuation divergence on the top side. This is a downtrend. In a period of consolidation, you'd be looking back towards this Fibonacci. See, you've had your 86 close to it, but not completely. It could come down, test $100 again. It could even come down slightly further in around $97. Catch that. A lot of stops in around there. Catch them people out and then bounce up, and you get a good strong move from that level. Managing risk, name of the game as a trader. This period of consolidation at lows within a trend. It's had 3 touches already. A lot of people will be looking to close shorts here, but in a downtrend, your prerogative isn't to buy at lows, it's to look for continuation. So you'll be looking for price action to test these levels and defeat them before it became a really strong trending move that you could enter at low risk. Until such times as that risk profile changes, you're managing it tightly. So 109, 107. Below there, you're testing your next entry is 101. You're going to have your stop below 97. It may well be that you're just better off looking for a test of 97, tight risk at that level, not want to hold it back below 81. Jeepers creepers. You know, if this breaks down, you could also be looking at it breaking out of the wedge, which would be confluent with a measured move from the formation it's put in most recently. So $87, very, very dangerous, right, if it breaks down. I know that there's corporate action coming up. Everyone's very excited. There's your earnings. The earnings were... didn't break it by even a couple of percentage points. You need to see significant beats if you're looking for volatility based off the back of events like that, right? You'd need to see 10%, right? 8 to 10%, and then you'd be looking for something significant on price, right? 4 to 8%, and you're not getting big enough moves. So the volatility, right? That those earnings not being vastly different from analyst expectations, price action not reacting extremely positively to it post-market. Just dropping down there, you had a positive move for a second. That was completely sold into candle body hitting that line. Jeepers creepers, both of them doing it. Right, these lines, they should come with... Right, I should probably just like classified information. This should become with a security clearance. Not that that seems to mean anything nowadays. You know, it's the quickest way of getting something on YouTube or TikTok is given a security clearance. See, you weren't paid well. I don't think that's going to happen. Sorry, we've got new efficiencies and they include not paying you. Anyway, what else have we got to see? I saw people chatting about that in the chat box there. What else are people looking at? Have you got other thoughts? Folks, what did I miss? I missed a donation. 44 months. How you doing, Vic? I was thinking of you and your Swedish compatriots when I saw that tragic news today. Shout out to everybody in Sweden. Hope you're all right. Tradespotting. There's a crab entry at 2460. Thank you very much, Nick. Yeah, on GME, potential crab entry 2460. What's that guy talking about? Oh, Russia. Poor Russia is screwed. There's that. There's the Leap Trading View competition. I am currently sitting in 161st place with 66% and 165,000 profit. 164, that's not bad. I was 44th last time I was using it. But I suppose you have to actually use it to stay up there. LivePerson, 1.38. Everybody positive at the moment. Covered AMD. Yes, XD. Thank you very much. Bing bong, sir. Very, very, very much. Can't let like there. Why not? Senkithas, 8 months. Bit of a gap on PayPal. PayPal! Rocky's your one for PayPal. What are your thoughts on Ethereum? Thanks for the live. Yo, Pata, thanks very much. My thoughts on Ethereum were that 2,200, great buy. You're looking at Bitcoin dominance. If it pushes up back above 64% again, it's going to go on. It's already at a 4-year high. And I think Ethereum really needs to recover. It's still in its bigger cup with handle formation. Appreciate you too, Yanni. Thank you very much. Kitties never die. 100 plins. Thank you so much, Kitties. Appreciate it. Bloody hell, you're going to be looking at a big ugly mug again any minute now. Cheers, Yanni. Alex B. Total legend. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate you, Alex. You're living legends, but I appreciate any time you can share with us. We got your back. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, so we got back to the start of the support messages. Thank you so much. And the question was there most recently, Ethereum. Where's my charts? Do I have them? That's not it. Ethereum. Yeah, so a huge dip down, price action come back up, previous levels of support now potentially resistance. I think this is more a period of consolidation back above the bearish control zone. This is a bit of a lackluster recovery as well. And having gone through such what important levels of support so dramatically shows it can be done again. So there is an awful lot of fear in the markets like we talked about. It's not just the death of that myth of American exceptionalism that's spooking the markets. It's also insecurity around Trump's actual steps. He's going to take, and as you can see, Bitcoin here back in 96.76. That's back testing these important levels of the breakout, that fair value gap and around here. It needed to be tested. That may well end up being a really good entry, which would be consequently good for Ethereum. Important point tonight note is Bitcoin dominance here and how significant it was. Like this 4-hour, you can see the spike here was in line with an increase in trend, which was mirrored underneath there. Go to the weekly time frame. see that that spike was actually the highest Bitcoin dominance has been in the past 4 years. It broke through a golden pocket, and the next level of resistance in at around 70%. So unless there is positive news for the crypto market, you're going to see that dominance increase. The biggest impact will be that Bitcoin's either accelerating ahead of Ethereum, right, disproportionately, or Bitcoin's not falling as fast as it. Until such times as you see the trend change, which hasn't happened yet, you have to look for that as continuation as a trader. So it's all about what happens on this chart, Bitcoin dominance, where I think the 4 hour gives you a pretty clear picture. This previous peak price action needs to slip. Like you can't have the strength of Bitcoin dominance consistently exceeding 61 and hope for Ethereum to put in the neck breaking moves that it looks like it wants to do. You know, it's got its cup with handle. Jeez, now I'm getting infected. Got its cup with handle, and it all works too, right? You can look at this was the different ways. Most recently saw this sort of cup here, and there was this potential for a handle. That most recent move down changes the picture, but not of what's going on overall. Overall, you're still looking at exactly the same picture. It's just this is the cup, huge cup, and this is the handle here, and you're looking at the Fibonacci that measured it. This guy, now a lot of people would say, look, that's a little bit too far. This retracement did. Was right, not far enough because it didn't come down to 50%. That's the low to the high measured back down again. But if you are looking at it from this high here to this low here, you got your golden pocket slip below it in at around 50% retracement. So you got 2 touches on that, and it's valid, right? So you've got your cup with handle, and still the measured move from that thing is the one that takes it on the big massive breakout. This is your. I'm sorry for the roughness of the drawing, but this mouse sensitivity, not used to it. You know, you still got these huge moves all still valid, and you know, your double test of that support level, 50% retracement within the cup. That's all how the formation is supposed to work. But it's much more fun and enthusiastic to talk about the bullish moves when you're in short-term, long-term bullish trends. In the short term, you're worried, right, because of that Bitcoin dominance and like the fact that it finds resistance here at previous levels of support. Ethereum falls back down, tests these prior lows, even lower than them, and it has a big effect on things like, you know, where the biggest opportunity is, right, is obviously in these huge volatility stocks, right? Like this thing, so much volatility that it makes, you know, what's it done today? 13%. The other day it was up like 13% or so. It broke out of this formation, you found resistance back in again. A lot of them are in this same formation. They were putting in consolidation. That consolidation was potentially ahead of a big move. You've broken back down only to previous levels of support where it might have tested anyway. You know, you see crazy things like this thing here. Ridiculous moves on this. What's that trend line it's got to there? You know, it was before the charts changed color. Everything getting down to the lowest possible levels. And if this goes back up and it's broadening formation at the minute, right, you're targeting stupid levels like that. So you really do keep an eye, definitely keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance. But until then, right, Ethereum and everything else, it's all going to go the same direction until such times you see that turn around. It could put in a reversal formation now. Look for candlestick confirmation, maybe even like on 15-minute of this, but you know, most of that you would see with a general positivity in the market, and that would come in with a successful retest on Bitcoin, yet its rate of change to the top side not going as fast and greater acceleration on Ethereum was definitely possible. You've got your rocket crop flashes all over the shop on Ethereum that would take it back up again. So you need that positive inflection, probably because of some event-based news, which would be likely related to Trump's appointments to Treasury and their decisions, which we expect to come over the next wee while. So, yep, big moves coming. What else did I miss then? Ba-dum. Advanced Money Destroyer. Thanks for AMD. I think the market will sell off this week. Thank you very much. I'm a Philly. I'm a Philly Red. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good to see you again. Benny Bitcoin's my username on Weeble. I pumped Jamie and Tradespotting in the chats on there. Thank you very much. It's appreciated, Mr. Benny Bitcoins. I really care about you guys, your success, and these stocks that we all talk about. Really care about them. So, you know, thank you very much for people who put their trust in me to boost the messaging. That'll help all of us. I'm definitely going to keep doing that. I love the job. I love you guys. Love what we're doing here. And I'll promise to keep going as long as possible. Thanks so much for helping me keep it sustainable. We're going to end the show today there. I think we covered all the important questions. If I missed anything, let me know. I'll definitely be on the old Discord. Jamie, what's your thoughts on REITs? Too risky. Real estate investment trusts. So the way that these things work is that you're looking for passive income for real estate investment trusts, and they typically will get their biggest boost in price when they become an attractive asset to invest in compared to other low risk passive investments, which would be treasury bonds. So you're looking for interest rates to drop so that real estate investment trusts become an attractive proposition. If you'd like to know more about how to make the most of real estate investment trusts, the property cycle, the times to buy, the starting point of opportunity, how to analyze that chart compared to others, the different lists of real estate investment trusts from the biggest to the smallest, those that have got the different quirks and all, there's a guide to it as part of my Patreon. It's a very less spoken about way of supporting what I do here, because it's right at the bottom of the rung in terms of things that are a priority to let you know about my Patreon, right? The best way you can support the show is just using the description links below. So those will be the things I talk about most. The best way you can support yourself is through the course and joining the Discord. So that's what I would talk about as for your success. And a few people use my Patreon, where you get access to all the charts that I've ever do all the time. You'll always be able to just flick to them and see my chart, and you get guides on how to invest in different assets, and I give you my best possible advice there. So that's another option for people, but again, it would come as a lower priority than anything you can do to support the channel here directly, or anything you can do to support the community and your own growth, which would be the course and the Discord. And all of these things can get confusing for, I don't want to labor on it too much. It's there for people who've got the means and the inclination to do so. You can find me on Patreon. Thank you very much for supporting the show today. The best way, easiest way, is with a like and watching the shows. I really appreciate you. It's important to me that Rocky's Outcrop's community and channel does well. It's the basis for having the foundation blocks for everything that goes on here. So I really appreciate everybody who supports him. And these are the ways that, you know, are best for all of us together. So if you have the means and the inclination, I'm always there, but just watching the videos, hitting the like button and saying hello when you're in the chat box is really appreciated. And the work you do for each other, that's what I really appreciate the most. So thanks very much, and see you next one. Good show today. Good start to the week, the last couple of days. Great to see you, Minner, buddy. You're always on time, sir. Thank you very much. And Minner America on the Discord there with our teaching assistants works. Join the course, you'll get unfettered access to the best traders. Thank you very much. See you guys. Hopefully Discord's back up and we can all spend time together even now.